Oh man, I'm gonna go live because I don't know when he's gonna come in, but he'll come in eventually. Oh, let me guess. Who's bugging me right now? Asking me for stuff? No. No. Okay. That's it first. What's going on, Rolls? Let's adjust this. A little. Oh, no wonder. The light on. Okay, well, I guess I'm not gonna have any light today. Whatever. That's how it's gonna go today. That's how it's gonna go. Come on. Get around the ear there, please. Thank you. Just an exposure there for a second. No, two. No, there we go. Oh no, that's bad, huh? Okay, that should be fine. Whatever. Hey, what's going on, Adam? Pedro's running a little late. He messaged me at 8:34 saying he's running late. So that's all right. It's all right. The show doesn't start until he says so, right? No? No. The show's already live. He's going to hop in live. How's everyone's week been? Are we going to show up or are we going to live on that? Oh, man. Yeah, how's that? Oh, look at this. He shows up.
I was going to show up. I wouldn't have texted you otherwise. I would have just said, I was asleep, bro. Sorry. What's up?
Often late. I like that.
Often late.
That's okay.
What's up, Adam? Home without internet? Still? Jesus Christ.
It's about the same as pumping the air out of the house. It's like
you do like canned air.
It's a can.
With a canned internet.
Where is it?
No, I know. It's pretty wild. I'm a mess today. I gotta get my shit together.
It's all right. You ready to go?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, ready as you've ever be.
Yeah. I mean, as prepared for this show as I am.
That's
Not prepared at all.
conscious with the Billy Ray.
That's it. We'll do it live. Let's go.
We'll do it live. Oh man. Let's run the brand here and
Let's do it.
Let's go. Ready? Let's go. He's not there. Welcome to the Mid-Geek Christ, episode 208. The show that asks, are you a previous employee of Twitter?
I mean, I don't think anyone's ever going to.
I've already got it in my resume. I mean, have you? I mean, I know I was. I was executive. I was executive head of relations. You know, like I don't understand.
I was director of programming. Go ahead, challenge it. Call the HR guy.
Call the HR department. I'm sure they
get confirmed.
Get the confirmation there.
I signed an NDA.
Yeah, that's all. I did secret stuff. Hey, what's going on? What's on,
Stadium? Thanks for jumping on. Also, Roll, Adam, all you folks, thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. I'm running a little late today, but that's okay.
That saga, you sent me the initial text, and I was all like, "Oh, Elon."
Oh, then you sent me the follow up, and I've been reading all.
You've been like drinking
it. So, incredible internet genius Elon Musk. If you haven't read the story or been following along, and usually this kind of stuff is like internet drama, it's like laughable, but this is interesting because we're talking about is he still the richest man in the world, I guess, at this point? I don't know. I don't care. Biggest idiot in the world. Dude that bought the poop factory that is Twitter. But of course, lots of bullet dodging, protection from white knighting.
He's got a lot of white knights.
He's got a lot of white knights. And this guy who's a genius, right? He invented the electric car and did all sorts of stuff that lots of credit. He's taking us to Mars. We are colonizing new planets because of the genius that is up here in Elon Musk.
Are we?
No, absolutely not. But he gets to shoot a car into space.
He did. He successfully shot a car into space.
Yeah. Well, I mean, engineers at SpaceX have to find and deal with the payload of the stupidity. But I get it.
Someone's got to take on the burden of.
Someone's got to take on the burden. Yeah. Elon doesn't know what a software stack is. Musk. Yeah, dude. The guy is. I've known for a while, even before he bought Twitter, that this guy's a fraud. He is one of the biggest, frauds I've ever seen. I just can't believe how much he gets away with. Like the amount of if there was "fake it till you make it" a picture in the dictionary, it would be his face, because this guy he just has a lot of money, and he might be good at investing and knowing where to spend the money, but everything else has been really on the coattails of other bigger brains. I
think sometimes, first of all, America loves a good con man. We know this. Con men are often heroes of our stories.
I think we elect him as president.
I won't even talk about that. We love a good con man. We love a good con man story, right?
Yeah.
We like the con man winning. We like the con man losing.
Yeah.
We love a good con man story.
It's a whole genre in cinema.
Also, I think we underestimate the value of being able to take a risk, right? Like if you start with millions and end up with billions, you could take risks, right? And that's what Elon took a lot of risks. A lot of them paid off really well.
Yeah.
So we're doing fantastic, right? If I took a risk like Elon and failed, I'd be in the street, right? So I don't take risks like that. I think that's where Elon, he's benefited from starting with a lot and being able to take risks, because even if he loses, he's still going to be okay, which is where money. Yeah, exactly. Money doesn't equal brains. I do think that money also allows people to take.
I've been told I mean, I'm told by lots of very, very brilliant people in comment sections of random videos
We're all
that
guilty of it.
if you are rich, you are smart. I mean, look, he's such a genius.
Joe, we're all guilty of it. A lot of times people try to end an argument by saying, well, how much money did that movie make? That makes it the best movie. And I'm like, running up the score does not make it the best movie.
That's right.
Does not make it the smartest person. Does not make it the greatest book.
Yeah.
Does not make him the best person, right? No, money is not a measure of worth.
Yeah.
It's just money, right? It's a score.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with Elon. We think because he's the richest man in the world, he's worth a lot more.
Because he's made amazing decisions. All the decisions he's made have been fantastic. So
dude, this whole thing, I don't know if folks are keeping track, but this whole thing made me remember of the fact that he picked a fight with a dude going into a cave to rescue teenagers. Like, I remember thinking, I was like, holy shit, yes, this is the same guy that picked a fight with the hero. Like,
yeah. I mean, this guy was willing to put his life on the line by diving into like a cave to save children. And he called him like
a pedophile. Because he didn't like his like weird human submarine thing, right? Like, there wasn't. We'll just drug the kids and put them in a box. They'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So
yes, if one of them did die trying to do that stadium, thank you. Because like, it's hard to, with all the stuff going on in the past 5 years, it's hard to remember those like huge moments. Mm-hmm. And it's like Elon.
Oh man, this guy is just ridiculous. So I mean, if you haven't been following along, a gentleman, do you have the names? Do you have the name of the? I want to make sure to call out his.
Hale or Hale.
Yeah, well, and he's out of like well, you know what? I gotta pull up the story. Let me pull it up properly.
Joe sent me the text like, can you imagine having this guy as your boss? And like, I was like, oh, it's Elon. I mean, yeah, I can, because he's so like, I've read so much about how he bosses, I can imagine it. But then, yeah, there you go. His nickname is Holly. That's it.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up the. How do you spell that? Does anyone know how to spell that real quick?
It looks like Adam spelled it Holli. There's the knowledge. This is because I came late to the show, everyone. I will take the hit on this.
Twitter. Did Google change something? What's going on here? I type in the word Twitter. Now I'm getting his tweets. Now it's like weird. It's got like icons and stuff. What is going on? Twitter, Google.
Did Elon Musk nuke his own website.
Yeah.
The embarrassment of his Twitter.
Yeah. It's interesting. You know what? I'm going to pull this story. You sent me the text earlier yesterday. Holly, Halli. Yeah.
Halli. There you
go. I want to make sure I pull this. I want to pull this story up right. Yeah, here we go. I'll pull up a BBC story just because it's not U.S. media. I'm not saying BBC's better, but you know, in general. But yes,
it's not tainted. Yes.
Yeah. So let's pull this up here. Boop, 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 boop. Anywho, so Holly, this individual, he is an employee at Twitter, and he sent out a tweet saying, hey, you know, I came in this morning. I found out that my computer was turned off. I can't get on the network. Can you give me? And he at Elon Musk. He's like, I just want to know if I'm still employed or not. You know, because reasons, right? And I like how he kept it very quiet, very reasons. So I just want to know if I'm still employed or not. Was I fired or not? I just like to know. And Elon replied back with like, you know, what would you what do you do for me? I just,
what do you do for me?
He's like, what? Like, what do you do? And he's like, well, I can't really say that. You know, I want to be sure. Do I have clarification to say what my job is? And he's like, and Elon replied back, yeah, go ahead. You know, you're clear. I'll let you, if it's, you know, whatever you do, it's obviously not secret enough. So go ahead and tell me. So he lists these things that he does. And then he's like, no, that's not true. You know, we've never hired for a design or whatever. I'm like, you know, and just decides to ridicule him, like just absolutely. Yeah.
So maybe I could show this quote. I have trouble sharing stuff on the Twitterverse here. Let me see if I can pull it up. One moment, please. This is from a Reddit thread. Let me pull it up here.
Yeah, no, it was this story was just, it was all over the place, and Elon has lots of tweets that have been deleted now. But the internet never forgets. Never.
No, it doesn't. And the reality is that this guy, who is independently wealthy, did no actual work. So he's talking about this guy coming out. Yeah, Pixar didn't happen, is what he said too. He did say that.
He did. This is the CEO. Oh my God.
Claims he has a disability. So first of all, like he's outing him on his disability, which is a big no-no.
One big no-no.
YOLO boomer. You know what? Shut up, Adam. You take that back. We're midlife.
Look, I wasn't prepared for the story. I didn't have the link up, but I wanted to talk about it.
Elon goes after me and says, was he fired? No, you can't be fired if you weren't working in the first place. So Elon has a very unique perspective here. And I think what winds up happening, which is amazing to me, is the guy winds up being really nice about it, right? So he says, I hope you're well. I'm fine too. I'm thankful for your interest in my health. But since you mentioned it, I wanted to give you more info. I have muscular dystrophy. It has many effects on my body. So like he goes, like the guy is so nice. He explains it all. This happened 20 years ago. This has been going on forever. I've got this thing. I've got a great family. Like my family is the best. I have 2 kids. I see them every day. I recommend that. And I think that's a direct reply to something Elon says where he doesn't actually see his kids.
Yeah. Those are burns within burns. I mean, this guy's a genius.
Delivered some great burns. And it says he just sold his company to Twitter. And part of the structure of the way he sold his company to Twitter is he collected a salary from Twitter while working for them, right? So rather than take the big payout, he collected the salary, pays his taxes on it. You know, he's got a real belief in his, I believe it's Sweden, his medical system that's supporting him financially. It wasn't the best decision. He could have made more money, but he did this. He believed in Twitter, yada, yada.
I want you guys to just pay attention to that. He basically said, I'm going to sell you this company. You're going to give me $100 million, but instead of you giving me $100 million, how about you just employ me?
Yeah.
Pay me a salary, which then pays taxes to my country, which then gives me health care. So essentially he could have taken a big payout or just make a salary like a normal working dude.
And he did work. I mean, he literally was like, every project that came my way, I joined at a time when the company was growing fast. There was a lot going on. The company had a fair amount of issues, but again, most big companies do. So he did work, right?
Yeah.
And it was pretty neat, right? So he's doing all this stuff. He's working faster. A little burn here, right? He says COVID was running for longer than the 2 weeks you said it would, right? So he's knocking back at Elon, going back at him. During my time at New Twitter, or at 2.0 as you called it, I talked to my manager every week and asked what I should focus on. So he's doing it right. He's managing.
He's got the receipts.
He's supposed to do.
Yeah.
He proceeded to do all these things. He's firing shot after shot, and eventually, what occurs is Elon just comes back and apologizes. And I mean,
I think so. Behind the scenes, you had the HR guy eating his morning bagel.
Yeah, exactly.
Running to like the nearest method to like, I think a smoke signal or something. You have to dodge the 5 bodyguards now that are following him because he's gone all paranoid. If you haven't read that story.
I mean, is there any H, like, where is the H person there now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, who knows? It's like, you know, some guy in like a dark cloak and a crystal ball or something. But you know, he runs up to him and he's like, yo, what are you doing? Like, because if we terminate this guy, the moment we terminate him, we owe him $100 million.
Give or take. That's an estimate propagated on the web, which is it's a pretty good estimate based on the way companies have sold before, right? But yeah, a ludicrous amount of money, much more than this person's salary, which is what I'm sure Elon was like, let me save money on salaries again, have another round of layoffs. Yeah.
No, and I love this last reader, but as I told HR, and I'm assuming that's the confidential health information you are sharing.
Yeah, I know.
Buddy, I can't work as a hands-on designer for the reasons outlined above. I'm typing this on my phone because it's easier because I only need to use one finger. I hope that helps. Let me know if you are going to pay what you owe me. I think you can afford it.
I like the I think, right? It's not, we're not sure at this point.
We're not sure at this point.
It's, yeah, so this guy fired back. There was all sorts of apologies. I mean, the saga's all, folks are propagating this $100 million thing, right? But it's going to turn into like 5 different massive lawsuits, and Elon fan still acts like he's playing 12D chess. Like, people were going out there defending him, and I don't even get it, right? The most expensive ableism in history, which is also fantastic, right? There was a little Tesla bump. I think one interesting thing about the internet, and I really like, is that Elon was rewarded before on Tesla stock by saying stupid stuff. And now he's being punished on Tesla stock by saying stupid stuff. And I'm like, has the internet turned against you, smart little man?
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if you don't, I don't follow Twitter. But ever since I uninstalled it and deleted like everything I could, Joe sends me links all the time.
I do. It's
I'm
but
full
I
Joe
make sure I distill it, right? Like I'm not sending you
No,
shit
you're not
posts.
sending me turds.
I'm
You're
sending
sending me
you good
polished
shit
turds.
posts.
It's sending me polished turds.
Polished turds. And when I sent you this, I not only did I not send you a Twitter link, I screenshotted it and sent it to you because I didn't know if you were
nice.
like
You
might have blocked it. You might have been like phone DNS block twitter.com, so you can't even pull them up, right? Like
I'm such an old man that I worry that like you get like information on how long I look at the things you send me, and you're like, this motherfucker didn't even click the link. Like I'm worried that you're like, he's not even trying.
Well,
I do.
You know what links do that? Freaking TikTok links do that. You know that, right?
If people don't click your link.
Yeah. So the moment you click, like if someone shares a TikTok with you, like they're watching it logged into their account and they copy the link and send it to you, you will get this link was shared by so and so, and then when you watch it, like when you're in your app, it tells you so and so watch this.
So it rats.
Yeah. yeah. See, Adam says it like TikTok narcs on you whether you're watching it or not.
You and Adam are the only people who send me.
I have a TikTok account, but I don't watch TikToks. I don't like. I'm boomery in the sense that like I'll watch reels, like which are like the accounts that like the secondary TikTok accounts, on Instagram, because the interface I think is still better. I don't know, something about it.
No, the interface, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Nope, nothing to see here.
No, they know exactly how long you've been online every chance they get.
Yeah, so that made
it was good. It was very delicious news yesterday to read and
follow. Yeah, and I'm still kind of following it because I know this like Elon, like his size, like a size 15 shoe was shoved down his throat because I mean, not only did it make him look stupid, but of course his protectors and fans aren't going to be wavered by this. This is just more fuel to the fire. And also, I mean, while we can laugh about it, he broke lots of rules and regulations and laws on this. And I don't know about you, but if I know this guy looked like he was a very nice human being and was very nice and cordial in his tweets back to Elon, but I would have had my lawyer on standby reading this entire thread and making sure to document it all so that he can take Twitter for more than what is owed from his company.
It's true. He should. He doesn't sound like the kind of guy who would, but he should have. Yeah. Right. He should go after Elon's throat, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I think it's interesting how many of the people coming out to defend Elon are like high-fiving Elon on his apology, right? Like as if it was the greatest apology ever delivered on Twitter. Yeah, he also literally broke Twitter for 24 hours, and that was there. But that's part of the 12D chest, Adam, right? So by breaking Twitter, more people wound up using Twitter, so Elon got the bump in usage that he was looking for.
Right.
Wasn't that his? I think that was his plan, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
It's just ridiculous. So yeah, that's my weekly Elon news. Just because the guy like, did you know that a couple weeks ago now he had it so that if you had him blocked, he was unblocked from your blocks.
He's great. He's the original free speech advocate.
Yeah,
he's.
I had to reblock him.
You have to reblock.
Like he's blocked right now. So when there's a thread with him in it, it says tweets that are blocked. So like I have to click on view, which is nice. But I should mute his name. I should like just put Elon Musk in a mute so that it mutes all.
So you don't get any news about Elon?
I just like I don't care. I don't like this is like I don't care. But this kind of news, like, but then I don't want to miss this kind of.
Yeah, you gotta filter through that dreck. You gotta
get the dreck got nastiness.
Marshmallows in that dreck.
Absolutely, I gotta weed through it. But
I think you should.
It's a golden nugget here. Ooh.
Yeah, I spent too much time on the tweets.
Yeah. So he broke all sorts of because he was it's about engagement, right? Yeah. So like he added the whole engagement view, so you can now view how many people have clicked or viewed your whatever, not just likes but engagement is this big thing. And so he made it because he was mad, right? He was mad about the president while he was at the Super Bowl or whatever. He tweeted out his Super Bowl tweet got more likes and engagement than Elon's did, and I was like, what an egotistical jackhole.
I mean,
like,
isn't it just like, oh, I guess Trump has more bots than me? Isn't it just a bot competition after?
I don't know anymore, man. Like I find it interesting that he literally bought Twitter just so that people can like him. Right? Because like his whole threat on buying Twitter originally was because like he, it was like this big competition of like, how much his followers love him on Twitter and whatnot, and how he's like being muted and blocked and whatever. And he's like, I could do better. I could run it better. I can do all this better because I'm better. It's
right. He was playing the most expensive game of chicken you could ever play in your entire life. Right?
Yeah. And so, yeah.
Paid $1 billion to get out of the contract and been done with it. But
yeah, but no, instead he paid
this
more.
is way more entertaining, and hopefully Twitter dies a horrible death.
Yeah. I mean, I'm riding that asteroid down to the planet like, woo, baby. So,
well, if only the next disaster was that perfect. Like, a big asteroid is what we need now. This slow death thing we're doing here is not.
It's not as fun. It's not as fun. It's like quicksand. I keep hitting ledges down the way down.
And you're like, is it over yet? No.
It's not a ledge. Hold on, let me move over a little bit. Oh, there we go. I'm going through again. So, yeah. Anywho, enough about that dude. Let's talk about some big games. Some big games here. The big one.
Listen, I'm going to let you finish, but I want to talk about Cocaine Bear for a second here.
Did you finally watch it?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. I didn't even put that in the title. Oh man, Cocaine Bear. Let's go. What was it? How was it?
I mean, I think the subtitle of Cocaine Bear is, gee, that's a lot of cocaine, comma, bear. Right? Like, the bear did a lot of cocaine in multiple hilarious ways. I highly recommend it if you like horror comedies, right? Like if you like gore horror comedies, I think it was hilarious. There was a ton of laugh out loud moments. It checks all the genre boxes, right? The victims are morons. The characters are all unlikable. You're cheering for
you're cheering for the bear.
You're cheering for the bear, right? And you're also laughing your face off because if you've ever had any experience with the sweet, sweet drug that is cocaine, you do want more of it all the time. And you don't want to get between a bear and cocaine. Is what you learn in this movie.
So no spoilers. I don't want confirmation or not, but I'm really hoping that the ending isn't like him getting killed, but him like his heart exploding from cocaine. Right?
No spoilers. It's better than that.
Really?
It's better than that. It doesn't. The one thing, it doesn't have the like great lines of movies of that genre. Like it doesn't have I am tired of these snakes on this MF. Like it doesn't have like those like grab you lines. Yeah, sorry, you're right, Adam. The bear is female, so spoilers. There's a little bit of stuff there. Elizabeth Banks really runs into the mama bear analogy, right?
Oh man, yeah, she's the director, right?
Yeah, she's the director. She's producer. She threw money there, right? So, roles spot on. Yes. How could you spoil this film? There's cocaine. There's bears. There's victims.
I mean, so the spoiler here would be if the bear dies or lives at the end, and also like, does the bear become a cartel at the end? Like, I just at the end, does he like? Does the bear? Does she like go? You know what? This is some sweet stuff. I need more of it, and like decides to go and like strong arm Miami or something. I don't know.
Yeah, sitting on a pile of cocaine, right? Yeah, no. There's the bear.
Say hello to my little friends, like other little bears. Like.
Yeah. So I think Rose, in a movie of this genre, the spoilers are the death scenes. I
don't want to know how anyone dies.
Get killed and the way people experience a cocaine bear is the way you want. Like you don't want to have any of those spoiled because they're delightful, gory and bloody. I will warn you. This is not a kid's film.
Yeah, but it's gory and bloody in the like over the top comedic like blood gonna spurt out the
Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Like it's
there we go. Okay, fair.
Schlocky
fair
death scenes, right? Yeah, it's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
There is one line where a character goes, Did you give cocaine to that bear? Like his like sincerity in that question, like why would anyone give cocaine? That's why. And I'm like yeah. So yeah. So it's It's great. It's great. I highly recommend it if you just want to. And Joe, you're always telling me to do this, right? You just turn off that brain.
Good job. And it worked, right? Like you just enjoyed. You hopped onto that ride. You hopped on that bear.
Oh yeah,
hopped on that bear and just like rode that like cocaine bear to the end.
I did a whole line of cocaine, comma bear. Yeah, that's what I did. I did a whole line. It was great. It was great.
Oh man, yeah.
Ray Liotta did not. Like it was weird seeing him in his final film.
Oh, that's right. That was his final film.
It was weird seeing him in his final film.
Oh man,
it was like Raul Julia in Street Fighter. You're like, why is he here? Right? It's just like, what is he doing in this film? Same sort of feeling. I think it's a weird way to end out your legacy. Even like Bruce Willis with his really bad final films. It was weird watching him in it, but it was great. It was great, hands down. Fantastic film.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Everyone like. So it definitely was better than.
I'm sorry.
It was better than any of the like sci-fi originals like Sharknado or anything like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're setting a really terrible low standard when you mention Sharknado, but was Sharknado even gory? I don't know. It was just stupid, right? It was just. I don't recall it being all that gory. Viscerally gory. Yeah, it's Snakes on a Plane. It's right there in the middle, right smack in the middle of these kinds of movies. It's no psychological horror of the Saw, but it's no stupid gore for the sake of stupid gore like Sharknado might have been.
So one of the things that Texas is Texas, right? And well, even New York has
speaking of Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, speaking of Cocaine Bear, I just wanted to show it. So Texas has the Alamo Drafthouse, and there's one in New York now. Fantastic theater, great. And this type of movie, this type of like genre is like right up. They always do special events and big things, and this movie will probably run as like Friday night like movie. Like,
did they hand out cocaine at the Alamo?
Well, what they did is they had a special dessert that you could order. They had they always do special menus depending on the movie, and sure enough, they had a Cocaine Bear. A dessert, and it was essentially like donut. It was a bear claws, like little bear claws, and lines of powdered sugar.
That's so good. See, that's spot on theme. Yep, powdered sugar. Yep, which is what we all pretended, right? After we saw Scarface as kids, too young to watch.
That's again. It's so good. It's so good. Like
excellent.
Yeah. So I can just imagine the individual in the back making these up, putting the powdered sugar, and then having to like make the lines. The manager's like, you do those a little too well. And just,
you said no questions, boss.
You said no questions, boss. That's right.
Rolls is like, but $9. I don't know where you've been, man, but it like inflation. Even fried dough costs $9.
Yeah, right? Man. Yeah, it's I mean, well, think about it this way. So the Alamo Drafthouse is a sit and eat kind of place, and their tickets are actually fairly cheaper than most places. They're they're not like $20 a ticket. They're like 12, something like that.
You don't go to the movie house in New York City. You don't. $12. I don't think movies have been $12 since I was 9.
Yeah, they're not as expensive at the Alamo Drafthouse. They're pretty moderately priced because they know that because they have good food, and it's not like there's a lot of these sit and eat movie theaters. The Alamo Drafthouse has always been kind of like a cut above. In a way, like that's how they've differentiated themselves.
Yeah,
right. I mean, they partner up with breweries. They've got like special brews tied to the movie. So, like for example, Cocaine Bear was coming out, they probably would have partnered up with a local brewery, and they would have had like a run of a specific beer ready to go, only sold during these shows. And it would have like they did that with when I went to go see Snakes on a Plane. And I still have my bottle. It's a bottled beer of Samuel L. Jackson beer. So it's like it's a Sam Jackson, with the hair and whatever else. It's a Samuel Adams bottle, but it's all done, and it was a special brew done by a local brewery. And so I still have it. Like it's a memorabilia that they gave us. You take it in a box. But yeah, that kind of stuff is special. So. And you pay for it, like you pay for specific menu items, and they do this.
Experience is part of the
experience. It's part of the experience, and they make their money. And you tip well, and all that kind of stuff. And so, like Alamo Drafthouse was one of the first to do it, and at the same time, it's one of those places where you don't feel bad going to the movie and having dinner with your like spouse or.
No, it's a great date night spot. Up here in the movie tavern, not so much.
Yeah, that stinks.
They don't even serve food anymore. You got to go get it yourself, or you got to order it in advance for them to deliver it. You can't it's because of COVID and they're talking about labor shortages. Everybody's blaming everything.
Yeah, but
you got to
okay.
order it.
All right, whatever.
Order it on your phone, which I hate. Rose says, I know popcorn and soda run me $15 at AMC.
They do. They do.
Yes, Adam, at the movie tavern, you have to order your food in advance on a phone, and it isn't very good. So that's, yeah.
Wow, so they don't have someone come and take your order. You have to order it on the phone.
Remember you used to push a button and a little blue light would show up and they come and walk over? Now you have to order it on your phone before the movie starts. And
before the movie. I was like, Mike, isn't the whole thing like they don't want you to put your phone
out?
out?
You set your time and you bring it over. Yeah, all that stuff. To your point, went to a dine-in theater once, hated it because there was a constant movement in front of the screen that drew your eyes away from it. So, that's part of the cost of it. The thing about the movie tavern, I don't know how it is at the Draft House, but the movie tavern was so small that it didn't interrupt so much.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been to the Draft. Most of the Draft House theaters are smaller, right? They're more boutique in a way, and they also they don't have as many rows, so they pull the row out in front. So it's like every other row is a row, and it's well staggered enough that they usually don't block you.
They usually don't, but I'm with you, Rolls, in that it is distracting sometimes.
It is.
Where you're watching a movie and you're distracted by it, right? So
yeah,
I'm with you there. It's a different movie experience, and if you're looking for full immersion, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a place where you can get a beer by pushing a blue light.
Well, the movies in general have become, I think Pedro can agree with me here that if you're going to spend the money and have a date night, you might as well make it an experience nowadays, right? Like I just can't justify going to like an AMC anymore because I'm already paying way more for tickets, and I'm paying for mediocre popcorn and drink. Sometimes the drink is flat or whatever the case may be. And then now the seats are just, it's not like, it's already costing me like $80.
Yeah, and it's competing with a home system you've set up to perfection, right?
Right.
That's it. It's competing with you being at home, and you're like, "Why did I come here?
Why did I come here?"
And this guy,
Rolls. Rolls. AMC was my first job, and I prided myself. The Orville Redenbacher bags that they have special like AMC branded. Their hot dogs are made specifically for AMC. The popcorn is specifically made for them. AMC popcorn is great. Never had a problem.
You mean branded for them, right? I just want
to. Yeah. Brand. But to be fair,
the same popcorn factory.
Yeah, it was Orville Redenbacher, right? Like it's definitely branded. It is big bags of Orville Redenbacher, like
branded.
Corn. Yeah,
branded.
Whoever made the corn for them is what they. the same stuff. I know. Yes. Look, I'm just saying, all of it is very specific, and they prided themselves in going to the market and testing the popcorn at
that's
back
fair.
then Lowe's, and they're like, ours is still better. It's the fluffier and yellower and whatever.
I'm sure they were amazing before they became only 2 movie theater companies in this country.
Right. Well, yeah, because AMC bought Lowe's years ago, and then so now they're AMC, and then all these other ones are Regal.
Now there's Royal Crown, or are they owned by AMC too?
No, they're it's all part of Regal now, right? So
eventually, it's all owned by Bud Light, is what.
Yeah, it's all owned by Anheuser-Busch, right?
Those are the 2 companies that are.
And that's owned by Johnson & Johnson, and then owned by Pfizer, and then it's all the same. But my point is no. See, then that you're right. The movie theater popcorn is pretty much the number one thing I go for. That seems it's so silly, right? Like I could pop popcorn in my microwave, but the next investment whenever I get my new place and for my theater will be a popcorn machine, because I do enjoy freshly popped popcorn. And if I'm already going to go full hog on a movie theater, the final bullet would be I miss movie theater popcorn with the hot butter and the
Meanwhile, Joe goes to the movies with me, and he's like, "You're not getting popcorn." I'm like, "No, I hate that shit."
Yeah, I get yeah, but yes, yeah.
We'll see. I hate how AMC is now rolled out. Oh, you know what? Rolling out tier pricing. I really appreciate you mentioning that, because I did read an article about this. And I was like, I wonder how Joe feels about it.
The wife and me had a whole they're already hurting to get people into the theater. So let's make it even more expensive, because that's the way to go. You're not.
It's only certain times they're like, oh, we're just going to charge Friday and Saturday tiered pricing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When do people go to the theaters except those 2 days?
Yeah.
Just
exactly.
Yeah. The new Mando's out. Everyone's done.
Yeah. And I'm going to catch up. I was waiting for 2 episodes before I watch it, but yes, I'm excited for it. No. So yeah, it's the movie theater in general. It's all it does is push the older generations out. I think personally, anyone with families and older generations, people that don't have the time, they work. I don't see it as a plus for them. I mean, the seats aren't any better. They're not, they were already luxury, right? They've already upgraded the seats to like recliners and whatever else, which was nice.
Yep.
And assigned seats, but now they're going to like guard off certain rows.
Yep.
Certain the prime seating, you have to pay more. Like, and it's not even like $1 more. It's like $5 to $10 more per ticket.
Which is absurdly expensive for a $15 to $20 ticket, right? Like that's extremely expensive. It used to be theater chains made a small profit on tickets. Mostly go to the studio. Longer the movie's out, the more the theater makes. But now they're just trying to cash in.
So the AMC, I mean, I would have to close out. When I moved up in the company, I was the supervisor, and I would close up tills and whatnot. We talked shop, and I talked to meat marketing. And I learned a lot about how movie theater and the distribution worked with all of that. And the movie theater itself pays for the reels, right? Like they pay for the movie up front. So when a movie theater has like 4 of a specific movie, they pay for those 4. It's not a rental. It's they pay for those 4, and they the ticket cost pays for the movie flat, almost no profit. The profit comes from the food. At least it did. Now they've been able to tax on stuff, right? So like the tax on, what I mean is like, well, let's invest in like luxury recliner seats and assigned seating, and like
let's charge a fee for buying tickets online in advance, even though we have to pay less people around to buy.
Right. So advanced tickets, we'll charge a processing fee of $1 per thing. If the movie theater is like an IMAX or a bigger, we'll charge you for better quality, which means that they just they flip the switch on for Dolby on one. Like it's literally how it works now. When they switched over to digital projectors, they're hard drives now. Like before, you'd get cans. Like they were big reel cans, and the booth, the projectionist would have to go up like on Tuesday when they would get delivered, and they would sit there and have to assemble giant platters of movie like reels.
Dude, projectionists, what a job that has kind of like
it's gone. Like they exist, but now it's like the manager with his experience. Yeah, he just walks up there and goes,
"Press play."
Yeah, I mean, not even. They're on timers. As a matter of fact, the movies are so locked down now by the theaters, by the studios, that they get these hard drives and they plug them into these projectors, and these projectors are connected, and it knows how many times it's run. So you can't just like start the movie for free. Like it knows, well, this movie was run 8 times, but there's not enough money to pay for it for the 7 times it ran. Why did it run one more? They get a few concessions for testing purposes for like employee views and all that. But yeah, they can't just run a free movie, which is like ridiculous, because my favorite thing of working at the movie theater was like going. I mean, I made enough friends that at one point when I was living in Austin, I knew people that worked at the AMC there, and they would at midnight, they would, let me and my partner and my friends, and then we'd come in and watch our movies.
Yeah,
like from midnight to like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, we watch 1 or 2 movies, and we'd turn it up full blast, and we'd walk up there and I'd help them set them up, and we'd watch movies. That's what we'd do. And it was great, because to this day, and a buddy of mine still tells me, he says, I have never had a movie experience like that. I, to this day, remember watching Speed Racer with you guys, and because it was so loud, because it was like we tuned it, because we like artisanal viewing, right?
We're
nerds. We turned up the audio. We made sure that the bulb was set properly. Everything was like just right.
Wait. What I'm hearing is that you don't do that for the paying crowds.
They don't. Like most projections didn't. As a matter of fact, most of the movie theaters, when 3D was a thing, there was a specific bulb and filter. Everyone's always like, I don't like going to 3D movies because it's too dark. Like the movies are too dark. It's because they're not running it right. You have to actually set it to you have to turn it on but it's too much work to set the filter. Like it was just a mess. So they didn't want to do it. So they just ran the normal run. And yes, it was in 3D, but it was dimmer because you have to change out the bulb. It was a mess. So like that kind of stuff, or the audio, you'd pay for Dolby, but they wouldn't turn that on. And most people couldn't tell. So like, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that made me mad, and knowing like, wait a minute, you guys are raising prices, but I know you're not running these movies in like
right. And you fired 3 people, right? It's not like you're paying wages. You've automated everything, and you're charging me for every little bit. But,
yeah,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
when I worked for AMC, I always wanted to be a projectionist. Never got that chance. It's one of those jobs that I'm like, man, that would have been so cool to do.
Yeah, working booth is what they called it, and booth was great.
So cool to be that, but now, yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. That's one of those. I mean,
no, just making the case for staying at home. Stay at home on the Shire, Adam.
Well, I mean,
there's only adventure if you leave the Shire.
And again, like I stated, if the movie theater is an experience, and the Alamo Drafthouse really made it that way, right? They took pride in the movies. Like one of my favorite things is they also would get like, we got a 35 millimeter reel of the original Star Wars. We're going to be running, next Thursday or whatever. Buy your tickets now. And so you get that experience of going to see an original cut of the movie. Mm-hmm. Or for example, they would do, I remember going to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at the theater. Again, they did a run and it was an original reel, not special cut or digital or anything like that. And then they brought out like Ernie Reyes Jr., as a lot of the actors would show up, that kind of stuff. And then they do like a talking after the show or they serve the special menu with like pizza and, that kind of stuff. So like made an experience.
Which is an important part. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an integral part of
I wonder what the next experience that you can provide in movie theaters could possibly be, right? Because it's hard to compete against like the home, and COVID has made it easier for people to just stay home.
You're right.
Adam's talking about this as well. So I wonder what the next, because 3D ain't it, y'all. Like
3D
ain't it. So how do we make an experience like that again to bring people to the movie theaters? I don't know.
Well, like I stated, they've got the good food now. So if they've got good food, and I don't have to pay an arm and a leg for it, but I would rather invest in the food and maybe the experience. I don't mind paying the $50, $60, $70, because then I know that that's the equivalent of a dinner and a movie, but don't make it shitty. Don't give me a shitty experience, right? So like there are some theaters now, like there's one in Houston called iPick, and I'm sure there's more around the nation, where it's essentially catered for date nights. You sit down and it's essentially a rounded booth. So it's a circular dinner table and like a rounded booth with like a spot for reclining. They give you blankets and pillows, and then so it's like a cuddle. It's like sitting at a love seat, but everything is closet, and then behind you it's a wall.
They built a small living room.
Yeah, yeah, that's what they did. So they basically did a living room with pretty good food. That's what. So you order your food, and it's like catered, and they give you like the blankets and whatnot and pillow. And unlimited refills and like.
If I was a teenager, I would love it. By the way,
right.
Informed adults, I'm like,
yeah,
I'd rather just stay home under my own blanket. Thanks.
Right. So it's just.
I think the big blocks movies will always be a draw. The new Star Wars movies could be on par with Godfather 3. Yeah, you're right. They'll still sell some tickets.
Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, rather than that, the opposite to that argument of being like secluded in a little cubby is the big blockbuster movies again. And I talked about it before. I talked about it recently on my friend's podcast. To this day, the last movie theater experience that I can remember that was just that effervescent, that moment, that collective feeling of joy was, going to see Avengers Endgame at the theater, opening night, all the nerds there, that moment where, Captain America picks up the hammer, that moment where he's just like back against the wall, ready to lose, and all the portals open, and it's like, on your left, and everyone shows up, everyone just loses their freaking mind. The whole movie theater just like cheered. Everyone was like, yes, that moment, that like collective geek, moment. That's right, great. Sure. And it felt good. Everyone around you was waiting for that moment. It happened. You felt the joy in the room. And then for the rest of the movie, it was just like downhill, like ride of like awesomeness, because that's how it felt. And to this day, I still feel it. And when I watch clips on that scene, all I remember is that moment. So that can't be replicated at a movie theater or outside of the movie theater.
I was at a movie theater in Sacramento, and The Matrix was on the screen. It was 1999. We got tickets, and I'm sitting right in the front row because it was the only tickets available because the show was selling out over and over and over again. I was with my boy Nathan Hensley. What was his last name? Nathan was his first name. We went and we're sitting there, and the famous line where Keanu Reeves turns to Morpheus and says, "I know Kung Fu." I laughed out loud so loud But no one else in the theater did. It just echoed, and I will forever remember that experience of me being like, "Wait, was this not a comedy?
Was that not funny to anyone else?" Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, there were movies like that where I laughed or did something like that.
I like to imagine that someone like you was in the theater furiously fuming the whole time. At me
no, because that's the thing. Like, I don't know when you watched it or the moment you watched it. There's definitely, so that's interesting. That's a different one because you reacted in probably the way the director probably did not want you to react, and everyone else didn't. And also, like, it was a new franchise, so no one knew how to
enjoy it.
How to enjoy it. I mean, Avengers or Harry Potter or Star Wars.
Cheer at those stupid.
Yeah, all of those movies are like the type of fan that's there is already a fan of an existing and established franchise. Now, Matrix 1, everyone was like, we don't know what to expect. I'm sure if you had gone to like any of the other ones after that and maybe reacted like
a lot of comedies before that, right? Like
or maybe walk into that second Matrix movie where they have the weird rave scene. And everyone, like, I remember at the movie theater going, "What is going on?" And everyone's like, "What?" Like, you just
super uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. Like, what is happening?
What is it? Neo and Trinity are getting it on as well in that scene, right?
Yeah, they're like all this. You're like,
actually very sexy stuff. You're like,
what is happening?
I couldn't have gone to this with my mom. It's weird. This is weird. So yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
that was a whatever. Anyway,
no. So
you're right. There's nothing that there are a few experiences that can be beat by enjoying it in a crowd of people who are also enjoying it.
Yeah, right. And just like you said, Adam said it, and I knew the term, and I just kept flipping the word. Collective. Durkheim says collective effervescence. So it's
we don't quote Durkheim though, Adam. We don't. He sucks. Boo, Durkheim. Boo. Boo. Suck it. Protestant work ethic. You're the worst. I rewatched the other two. He talking about the Matrix before the new one came out and gave up because of the unnecessarily.
Right.
You didn't give up because of the like weird French scene where he's like, isn't that the second one also in the restaurant? Doesn't that happen in the restaurant?
Yeah. This for the cake.
That movie was out of control.
The movie was just like, it was so full of itself. It had no idea where to go.
The third and the fourth was just weird. I'm glad it's over though.
Yeah. So speaking of movie theaters in general and whatnot, there are still some movies that I'm going to be there day one. Of course, like the Mario movie, I'll be there because I'm going to watch it. Like, hopefully I picked the right theater to watch it, with my kids and whatever else.
Also, you're a Chris Pratt super fan. So
you've been looking at my chest tattoo again. I don't understand. So if you didn't know, right? So Nickelodeon years ago bought the Ninja Turtles. They bought the rights from Kevin Eastman. And Peter Laird. I think Peter Laird had already sold. Anyway, my point is he bought the rights. They bought the entirety of the franchise from him, and he's still the creator, and he still works on the show or works on anything that the franchise does. But for the longest time, the Ninja Turtles have been in the hands of Nickelodeon, and they've done a good job. They did the 2012 show was fantastic. The CG show was amazing. If you ever get a chance and want to watch some good Ninja Turtles with proper continuity and good story, and even though it's on Nickelodeon, like there are dark scenes in that show, and you're like, whoa, this dark. And sure enough, I mean, if you don't know, the Ninja Turtles are not the hokey, red, yellow, purple, blue bandanas that they always were. The original comic was dark and gritty and like decapitations and death. And I mean, the Shredder is only a villain in the first arc, and then he gets killed. Like that's what happens. That's how but to market it to kids.
Spoilers. What the hell?
Spoilers from 1983. By the way, Darth Vader is also Luke's father. What? No. But anywho, the franchise has been kind of up and down, and it's always reinventing itself for every generation. That from the original 87 cartoon to the 03 cartoon to the 2012 cartoon to the newest Rise of the Turtles. All of that was just multiple, and sure enough, we've tried to do it again in the movie theater, and they had the weird Michael Bay ones, right? Like if you remember any of those things are just a mess.
They're weird.
They're a mess. They're weird. They're just not. I couldn't enjoy them. I tried to. I just couldn't. They were just weird looking.
Which is a lot. If Joe tries to enjoy something, he will, right?
Yeah. That movie, the second, what's interesting is that second movie is better than the first because it's like the first movie was like, we don't know what we're doing. The second one, they kind of like reined back some of it and like brought in some of like the turtle things. But even then, that couldn't save it. Once that second live action one came out, they killed it. Like there was no more to make out of that one. well, we're getting a new one, and it's a
I
CG one,
I thought
and
I
it's
dreamed it.
it's got a great cast, and it's actually being directed by Seth Rogen. Seth
my
Rogen, like he's a big fan. He's been a big fan of Ninja Turtles, and they dropped the cast 24 hours before dropping this trailer. And this movie launches in August. We hadn't seen anything of it. I mean, we've seen trailers for movies that are still a year away, and this movie is trailer dropped. Movie comes out in a few months. I'm excited. This looks great. I want to show you this trailer. I'm bringing it up right now.
So, are there any Chris's in the cast? Because it won't.
I'm sure there are. For sure. So let me bring this up.
Yeah, Rolls. I mean, the right touch is what matters, and I think Seth Rogen can knock it out. Let's see this trailer.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm already liking the animation.
Yeah, it's got that Spider-Man multiverse, 24 frames a second, kind of the jittery look, which is good for animation.
Stay still. Stay still. No. Oh!
Let's try that again, but with ninja stars.
Hey, why did we pick a fruit shaped exactly like my head?
Just stop talking. You're ruining my concentration.
You're fine. Chill. He's gonna die.
Ah!
Wait, did you hear that? What was that? Well, nothing we can do. You guys want to grab pizza?
Also, I appreciate the Tribe Called Quest.
Oh yeah.
What the heck are those things? They look like little Shreks to me.
Oh, we've prepared our whole lives for this. Oh my, I'm gonna be sick.
Leo, what happened? Is Donnie bleeding?
It was an accident. Mikey, watch out!
So you were baby turtles who made contact with mystery goo.
Well, we prefer the term ooze, but yeah.
It's like more like it's just nicer.
It rolls off the tongue better, yeah.
Ooze.
It's nice, right? It's
Look at this cast.
Jackie Chan, Ice Cube, John Cena. Didn't even notice him at first. What does he play? Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
So first thing you're going to notice is all four of the turtles are kids. They are all like actual 12-year-olds and up, teenagers.
Yeah.
Shocking. I know. Like it's interesting because the last movies were like they're teenagers and they were just these giant hulking
Jacked teenagers.
turtles, and I'm like I get that they've
This
always
is normal, Michael Bay. This isn't normal.
What's going on? Like, are we like middle-aged turtles, like steroid-ridden turtles? Like, you can't call them teenage anymore. Like, so yeah.
Raphael smoking a fat stove. Like, oh, my
I don't know what to
me.
do. I mean, even the original like Ninja Turtle movie. I mean, you had Raph, in like he was just older. He always felt a little more grittier. And maybe they were late teens, right, for this time. But this is like their early teens. And I kind of appreciate the idea of like really doubling down on the teenage part of it.
Sure.
And, little green, no pun intended, or intended, it's new to the whole thing, starting fresh. And Jackie Chan plays Master Splinter. And then 4 kids, a lot of kid actors are playing the voices, Leo, Mikey, Raph, and Donnie. And then you've got all sorts of other voices for you've got Mondo Gecko in the movie. You've got what is it, Genghis Frog? It's you've got just all sorts of other mutants are gonna Bebop and Rocksteady. I think Bebop is who's the voice of Rocksteady is definitely Rocksteady is John Cena.
John
John
Cena.
Cena.
Casting for Rocksteady.
Yeah, with Rocksteady and Seth Rogen is Bebop. So,
all right, good characters, good characters. So is it going to be like Batman first year, except it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm guessing. Like,
I like that they didn't reveal any of the villains.
They didn't, right? If you noticed that
there was no Shredder notice. There was just a shot of Splinter. It was like a very nice.
We might not even get a Shredder in this one. From the casting, I've seen that Baxter Stockman is in it.
That's
think,
the Fly guy, right? That's the
well,
Fly
I mean,
guy.
Baxter Stockman before, so he's his doctor, and if someone has the cast pulled up, they've got someone a pretty big name for Baxter Stockman, and then they've got, I think Dr. Dre is playing a character called Superfly, which we don't know.
No, wait, Ice Cube. Is it Dr. Dre too?
No, it's Ice Cube. You're right.
I was like, Dr. Dre and Ice Cube?
No, yeah, it's like what? No, you're right.
The internet with this film.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So good casting. Good. It looks great. I mean, it sounds great, and animation looks great. I've got nothing bad to say about this. More Ninja Turtles.
More Ninja Turtles.
Can't go wrong with that.
It doesn't look like a cheap nostalgia grab either, which is nice, right?
I think Nickelodeon was like, that last theater run was pretty bad. We need to really bring in some good talent and some animation. And you know what? Maybe CG wasn't the way to go. Like live action CG.
Pretty cool animation. It looked like a good homage to the original Eastman stuff, right? Like
the city looks gritty. Yeah. I'm excited for it. So
sometime before Dune, right? August before Dune.
Yeah, August before. Yeah. So a few. I mean, we're in March now. April, May, June, July. I mean, 5 months. That's what is that? We're already 3 months into the year. Like,
I can't believe it's already March.
It's already March. Speaking of
2 weeks to PAX East, right?
Speaking of March, I think we were supposed to have this amazing video game launch soon, and it ain't happening. So if you haven't followed along, we now have a new delay for Starfield.
I thought you were going to say Star Citizen. And I was like, don't you dare, Joe.
So yes, we were supposed to be getting it pretty soon.
This is the Bethesda Beast, right?
Yeah.
Blizzard Beast, Bethesda Beast.
Yeah, it was supposed to launch November 11th last year.
Yeah,
they pushed it back to the first half of 2023, and now they've pushed it now to September 6th.
It's November of this year. That's where my money is. It's going to be a full year delayed. They're going to want to get it out right before the holidays to capitalize as much as possible on the delay. They're not going to launch it in September.
Like, I don't look. Doom and Gloom Joe is going to come out for a second. This is looking bad for Microsoft and its studio acquisitions. They've spent a ton of money, billions of dollars, acquiring Bethesda, all of its smaller studios. I mean, we did get Tango drop, Hi-Fi Rush recently, which is doing great for them. I mean, it's not Starfield. Like, it's not a system seller. It's not a name brand game to kind of say Xbox exclusive or brought to you by Xbox or Microsoft Studios or Xbox Studios. It's just, and so like, here we are years after the acquisitions of these studios, and they really haven't given anything. We're 3 years into the lifespan of the Xbox series, and we still haven't gotten the Xbox Studio game.
I think they're playing a different game.
I know, and I keep saying that.
Yeah, the PlayStation is playing the old war. Microsoft says, no, we are games as a service.
Yeah, we're just going to keep dropping games, whether the game came out last year or now. Whenever it comes out, it comes out. You're just paying for it, and it'll come out. I understand that. The problem is like, you have to look at it from the other side. Like, there are still lots of individuals that buy and purchase and kind of pledge their money and their service towards the console that gets that hit. And honestly,
those folks are small. They're not a big enough population to give a crap about.
You think that, but there's reasons why Sony PlayStation 5 is still selling like gangbusters more than the Xbox. Right now it's like 2 to 1. It keeps growing. It keeps growing. And like Sony, even though Sony doesn't have the games, right? Like they release
so they can play Call of Duty. I don't understand.
No, they can't, because eventually Call of Duty will be purchased by Microsoft. My point is like, I'm just playing. I'm playing devil's advocate here because I like Xbox and I like Game Pass, and everything that Game Pass gives me is fantastic. This is gonna blow up in the CEO's face in a lot of the decisions that they've made with the amount of money that they spent, and they can't get as an executive, press matters. For companies, press matters, and the amount of money that they've invested versus the amount of money that they're making back is still not what Sony's making. And when you've got a direct competitor still beating you in money,
you think? I mean, I don't have any evidence of that. I'd like to.
They do. I mean, they right now. So the recent, stock.
So your statement is that Sony PlayStation is making more profits from the sales of their consoles than Microsoft is from their subscription service.
Yeah. Because they want, why would a Sony buyer subscribe to Game Pass?
But
You've got more
consoles have to be slim as hell.
I know, but they
it
buy
isn't
the
an
console.
iPhone, right?
Yeah, but you have to understand that they buy it and then they also buy the year subscription to Plus.
All right, no, maybe that's it.
I mean, and if they buy
cite your sources. Cite your sources, Joe. I'm gonna have to research this because I find it hard to believe that a subscription service with almost no overhead besides your.
Well, there is overhead, right? They still have to money hat a lot of these studios to release day one on Game Pass, unless it's their own studio.
Right, and they have all these studios to.
But that's what I'm getting at. That's the exact argument. There is no releases from their own studios yet. Like the amount, everything that Redfall still hasn't come out.
Yeah, but that's coming out in May.
But it was pushed back 6 months. Like that's what I'm saying.
That high tech one after they're showed. I mean, I don't know. I feel like they drop a new game on Game Pass.
They do, but and again,
high-end game every month on Game Pass.
But again, it's not the press generating game. Again, I agree with you. I appreciate all the games that they give me, but we have to talk about like the perception means money. Sadly,
yeah, no, I'd like to see the money. That's the thing, because I know your perceptions is going to be twerked by Twitter and the Reddits and people you talk to. I'd be curious to seeing the numbers because Microsoft has got strong ass stock. They're throwing billions of dollars and everything in their mother, so they're not. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they just have a lot of cash they got to spend. But I don't know. I'd like to see it, but not today because it's.
It's late. We'll talk about it another day. We'll have a.
Roll, you're right. We do have GTA 5, and I believe there's going to be a remastered version coming out for your Roll. So hold on to your hat. Be ready to buy a 16th version of GTA 5, followed by Skyrim. You can buy both of them at the same time, maybe in a package deal. From Bethesda. It just says, "Show me the money." I mean, Microsoft. I mean, I don't want to. How you say? They're making money. They're a big company who's worth a lot of money, but I need to see what their margins are. I'd be curious to see what they're making their money on. Microsoft has a lot of things going on. Sony has, PlayStation. So we'll see. I mean, Sony has a lot of things going on too, as I say it out loud. Is that River City Girls 2? Have you played it yet? In the background on your arcade machine?
I have it on my Switch. Yeah.
Have you played it yet? I haven't. It's on my wish list to purchase. I haven't done River City 2 yet.
So I'll just real quick, just because.
Real fast. Shoot it up.
Real fast.
Got it ready to go.
Real fast. Just to kind of show the numbers. These are from 2022, not 2023. But
that's fine. That's fine.
This is gaming revenue. So Sony revenue 24.8 billion, operating income of 2.6, revenue 16.2 billion.
So they don't report their gaming segment profit. What does that mean?
AKA they don't want to talk about how much money they're making because they're burning money because of the studios that they've purchased. So the amount of the gaming revenue isn't, like, the operating income is not what they're because their operating income is huge.
So Sony is claiming that this article is claiming that they're making $24.87 billion just from their gaming arm.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Sony makes good money.
And that's what I'm saying. So, like, if you look at the amount there, 24 billion, 16 billion.
I mean, all information provided by GameSpot and Twitter. That last part there is questionable, source. But okay. I'm with you. No, we start here.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's. I mean, these are from the yearly.
Sony leads the way. All right. Yeah.
So now announced by the early ratings from 2021. So I mean, again, this is from last year, but my point is like they're there. I mean, these are the big announcements there. I mean, look, Nintendo's making 15.
Yeah, that Switch in 2021 is a big deal. Everyone bought a fucking Switch during their pandemic, Joe.
Yeah, I know, and that's and their operating income was 5, so they made 10 back. And again, you have to think about this is 2021. This was right after the big purchase of Bethesda, right after the big purchase of they're spending money for the Activision Blizzard merger still, and they're dealing with court litigation and all that kind of stuff. So like, it's a long game for sure, but these are the numbers. And like, as much as I like Xbox, there's reasons that people stick with PlayStation because that exclusivity is silly. Like, I get it. That's the old style, but people still think of it like that. Like the Game Pass is like, I get it. I understand it. And I like what I'm getting from Game Pass. For me, it's a better deal. But my problem is this might blow up in their face enough that we'll get whole new, like right now, I like the team that's running, Xbox, I think they're making some good decisions, some valid decisions. But when the bigger heads at Microsoft don't see the 10 billion, why are they? We're leaving 10 billion. If Sony's not giving them and spending all this Game Pass money, and they're still making $10 billion more a year than we are, what are we doing wrong still?
So I want to be clear here. If I'm reading this right, revenue is 24 billion. Revenue at Microsoft could be 10 billion, right? Operating income could be $10 billion for Microsoft.
Right.
We don't know
what their operating income, but because they don't report it, it sounds to me like it's costing them a lot because they seem to be throwing money at it to kind of like keep it. Again, Microsoft has multiple venues of revenue.
Microsoft doesn't have the dollar sign as an S for
a reason. No, exactly.
They know how to make the money. So this is interesting. I wonder, like, I'm gonna have to dig a little deeper.
And again, this is gaming. It's gaming. Wherever you game is there's no wrong answer. If you have a Sony, I have a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox and a Switch, and I buy.
Which do you play more often?
The Xbox.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, but and again, and that has a lot to do with the fact that like Game Pass, right? So I'm paying for the Game Pass, and the Game Pass gives me games on a weekly basis, whether it's new or old, or it's a re-release or a remaster. Or
try a bunch of new games.
Try a bunch of new games. Sony doesn't, but Sony, there's just like I don't get it either. But people are okay spending $70 on that Sony game. You know, God of War Ragnarok came out, and it sold like freaking gangbusters. And the opposite, right? So we had the recent story where Microsoft, you know, in court, where they're talking with the whole thing, you know, about the Activision, they came out and pretty much stated, hey, by the way, yeah, we know Game Pass cannibalizes actual game sales.
Of course it does.
Of course it does. But you have to also look at it from the fact that, like, as a studio, you're making good money from Game Pass, but like releasing an exclusive on a console is making them a lot more upfront. Like, again, if your game is that level and you know it's going to sell like that, it's better to sell as opposed to go to Game Pass. But if you know that your game's going to get lost in the minutia of other games, then at that point, take the front sell from Microsoft and hope you get that long wave on Game Pass.
DLC, the long wave, yeah.
So it's a business. Gaming is a business in general.
I wouldn't have played 1/100th of the games I've played.
Right? No, same thing. So
we play Minecraft all day, which is what I'm doing now anyway. It's what I'm doing now. I've been playing it for the past 2 weeks. It's been great.
And again, you're right. Microsoft, the amount of revenue that they make from their Minecraft arm. I mean, while it is part of Xbox and all that, Minecraft itself is its own business. Like it makes its own money from advertising, from
$7.99 realms of your own.
Realms from toys and merchandise. I mean, people buy Minecraft like bed sheets and like stuffies and T-shirts and lunch boxes.
What a weird thing that people do.
I know.
A guy wearing an Animal Crossing T-shirt, right? Got to get with the trash pandas, baby. Minor League Baseball. That's what it's all about.
It's all about the Savannah Bananas, right? Like
Savannah. You're not wrong. It's a great team.
They're coming to play in Houston, the Sugarland. They're playing the team there, the Space Cowboys, and they're playing in July, I think, or something like that. And the tickets sold out like in January.
Of course, because it's like the matchup of the century.
Yeah. And they're playing. Not only is it so popular that they added a whole new game. Like, could you imagine? They're like, we're just going to add another game to this. So,
I was hoping the Bananas would make it out stays.
Yeah, they're that popular. It's so funny, right? Like, but social media, baby. Social media, that's where it's at. All right, folks. Well, thank you so much. Thanks everyone for joining us on here.
Adam, Rose, Rita,
everybody. I appreciate it. If it goes well, no, absolutely. I appreciate everyone for spending your Wednesday night with us. We'll be back next week. A couple more weeks till PAX, baby. Right?
Next week is our last show before PAX, and then PAX. Yep, it's gonna be sweet. It's gonna be awesome. All right. Thanks for jumping on, Rose. It wouldn't be a show without you folks jumping on to chat with us, right?
Yeah. And again, we won't have a show on the 22nd, which is Wednesday. I will already be in Boston. So
be there the other night too. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic, folks. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Another show in the can. Yeah. Take care, everyone.
Be kind.
Be kind.